Me too.
Okay, this is actually a beautiful hand. So, anyway. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Spellweaver. My name is Boltor.
And I am the Fuzz.
And today we wanted to bring you a sample game of the wondrous fun that can be had in Spellweaver. And we hope you enjoy it, so kick back, relax, watch a game, and hopefully we see you in Spellweaver. Now, how the game starts off is you get an opening hand of 7 cards. You get to either mulligan it away completely, and then get stuck with whatever hand that comes out again, or you get to keep it. And this is an ideal hand for an aggressive deck like I'm playing, and so I'm just going to keep the hand. Now, I also have the Spark of Initiative, which goes to the player who goes second, and you sacrifice the Spark, you have an additional mana that turn. Okay? So,
I'm going to kick it off. I'm going to start by playing one of my shrines for Order, and this allows me to play anything that is level 1 right now, 1 Order. And I'm going to play this dude, and we're going to pass the turn to Boltor.
Okay, so, to start my turn off, I can play either Dominion or Nature, which are the 2 different aspects, and how this works is I can play it either for level and gain a level, which allows me to play creatures that are 1 level of Nature or Dominion, or I can play it for mana, which gives me an additional mana crystal, which is permanent, and I also draw a card when I do it that way. So, how do I want to start this off? I think I want to start it off by playing... I know, let's do a little bit of a combo, shall we? Just to start us off and show us how fun this game can be. So first things first, I'm going to play Dominion for level, so now I have 1 level, and I can play any creature that requires 1 Dominion level. I am going to sacrifice my Spark to get 2 mana, and I'm going to play Moon Priestess. Now Moon Priestess has the effect of, or the ability of support, so she goes to the back row, and when you're in the back row they can't be attacked. And she has the ability Exhaust, gain 1 mana this turn. So I'm going to use her effect and play out my Spoiled Aristocrat, who can't attack or block until I play another creature after him. So while I can't do anything this turn, he wouldn't be attacking anyway because he's got Summoning Sickness. So I'm going to just go ahead and keep him out and see what Fuzz has for me.
We're going to go into a 2nd mana, so we can play something for 2. Now his guy has 3 attack, so it's quite a bit dangerous. So because my guy has more speed, and this is indicated by the number of chevrons on the creature card, I'm just going to go ahead and attack him.
Now,
So we
how
can trade off.
speed works in Spellweaver. Speed. A creature can only attack or block another creature if it can match his speed. So he can attack my creature, he could block my creature, but because my creature is 2 speed and his creature is 3 speed, I couldn't attack and block his creature. Now, he did play a creature with 1 speed, which is pretty much attackable by anything. So, what I'm going to do now is, because my creatures are so much faster than his, I don't really need to worry about him attacking my creatures. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this for level, so I get 1 nature level, and I'm going to use her ability to give me mana. And then I'm going to play out my Elf Warrior, who's a 2/2, but normally this would kill this, but because my guy is so much faster than his, I don't have to worry. He can't attack my Elf Warrior at all.
That's alright. This time I'm going to go up in Order, so I can play something a little bit more advanced. And we'll play the Cavalry Field Captain, bumping him up. Unfortunately, that's still not enough speed, so we're just going to attack Boltor's face.
So I'm going to take 3, which is fine. And we drew another card, but we also gained what's called a Skill Shrine. Now, when you play a Skill Shrine for mana, instead of drawing the card, you gain a skill, a hero power. An elf I control gets +1 attack, +2 health until end of turn. Now, this goes onto the wheel of abilities, and each hero can have a maximum of 3. Each hero starts with 1. Her ability is creatures you play or play this turn are swift. So now I have 2 options, both 1 mana. So I have things I can do this turn. Now, the question is, what do I want to do this turn? I think I'm going to do a combination of things. First things first, I'm going to play another Spoiled Aristocrat so that I have it out. And then I'm going to use my hero power, Native Soil, to make my Elf Warrior bigger. So now I can trade into his cavalry field captain and kill it. Now, as you see, I have the ability to pause in case I want to activate an instant speed ability like Moon Priestesses, but I don't want to do that just yet. But I will do it for the second half of my turn. So I'll gain 1 more mana and play Elf Scout, who's only a 1/1, but he has 4 speed, so he's incredibly hard to block.
Well, we are going to play another captain. And now I have things I can attack. I can only attack this one, but that's still good enough. And now Boltor has a decision to make.
Yes, I can either let him kill my 3/1 or interfere with his attack and block with my 1/1, which I will definitely do because I am an aggressive deck and I prefer to have his my bigger creatures live while my smaller creatures protect the bigger creatures. So, I didn't draw a land or a shrine this turn. So, what I could either play with the mana I have, or I can activate the ability Divine Intervention, or Divine Offering, excuse me, which allows me to take a card from my hand, send it back to my deck, look at the top 5 cards of my deck, take any shrine from among them, and put it into my hand, which I did. And it also gives me my 3rd hero power, Vampiric Touch. Put a weakness emblem, which gives -1/-1 to an enemy creature, and I gain 2 life. So, now I have some choices to make. And I think those choices are going to be the following. I'm going to play Elf Commander, which is unblockable, and gives all my other elves unblockable, which obviously means they can't be blocked. And I'm going to activate Moon Priestess's ability, and activate my hero power, Native Terrain. Creatures I played this turn are swift, which means they don't have summoning sickness and can attack the turn they're played. So, I'm going to... Well, actually, I'm not going to attack his Cavalry Field Captain because Cavalry Field Captain can retreat to the support line. And because my guys are unblockable, I'm just going to go face for 7 damage.
Well, I can't block, so we're just going to have to accept that. But no worries, I have a plan. Now, at the end of his turn, I get 1 last chance to do something, and I will. I will play Touch of Light to pump up this guy a little bit. And now it's my turn again. Now that it's a 3/3, I can kill his commander next turn. Let's see what we draw. Not a bad card. So we're gonna play another guy. Captain's gonna want to kill that guy because unblockable is definitely a problem. My heavy infantry, unfortunately, is too slow, so it's just going to have to attack the face.
Okay, and there's nothing I can do because all my guys are exhausted, but, which is represented by the little disease coming out of their heads. Now, I'm going to send back one of my cards, get a shrine, play the shrine for mana, draw a card. Oh, and we drew a good card. Let me think here. So, I could either trade into his board and potentially gain board advantage back, but instead, I think I might just play a little bit of board manipulation. Let me think. Yes, I think that's going to be the option. So, here is what we are going to do. We are going to first Vampiric Touch, his highly sought after Cavalry Field Captain that he loves so much. Then, we're going to activate Moon Priestess's ability, gain a mana, which gives us enough to play Assassinate, destroy target enemy creature with 2 or less. And that lets us kill his Cavalry Field Captain. Now, we're going to, because we're in danger of getting overrun here, we're actually going to trade into his creatures.
Well, I do have a trick up my sleeve, and I'm going to try to get as much board as possible. I had the option to buff up my bigger guy, but his strength is dependent on the number of soldiers I have, and so when the smaller militia dies, he would have died as well. Alright. I'm going to use my hero power, which just summons a militia. It's something. And we're going to go face.
All right,
And now those puny elves are helpless.
Oh, the elves are not completely helpless. For instance, I have my Haldiri Rider. Now, I can either click and drag to attack his face, or the game does come with this attack enemy hero button, which, when pressed, will have all of your available creatures attack the enemy, or attack the opponent's face. Now, there is a mass pullback button that happens after you click it, and clicking this doesn't automatically say, well, they're attacking and there's no second guessing it. You do still have to confirm. And that's
We're going to let that happen.
So now he's down to 10, I'm down to 15, and we pass play back to Fuzz.
It's okay. We have something just for cats of this size. Ray of Righteousness. Takes care of that problem. And we go face.
And there's nothing I can do about that, so... Now, normally, I would be able to use my hero powers, but because I used them recently, they are on cooldown, represented by the little hourglass resting over them with a number. The number represents the amount of turns that remain before I can use it again. Now, I drew an interesting card that's a lot of fun. But we're going to go ahead and save, or we're going to go ahead and hold on to it, not play it just yet, because we don't want to lose her. So, we're just going to play the Elf Warrior and pass our turn. Now, Elf Warrior should be safe because of his high speed. And we'll just see what Fuzz has.
I have something a little bit different. I have a spell. And this spell is going to stick around until it's either destroyed or it's sacrificed via its own ability or any other effect. Now, my militia is going to die here if I attack, so we're not going to do that. But my heavy infantry is big enough to take on his Elf Warrior, so he can attack safely.
Yes.
And we're going to summon another one. And because my guys are vulnerable to attack, I'm going to move them to the support line so they don't get killed. And then I'll just put my guy under Path of Transcendence so he has the option to come back stronger than before.
Okay, so I drew a skill shrine, which I'm going to throw back in hopes to get a basic shrine so I can draw cards, which I am going to do. I'm going to draw. Okay, good. Now, the card I was holding on to is a dastardly little elf known as Temptress of Deceit. Now, normally she has summoning sickness, but I'm going to use Native Train and attack Fuzz directly. Now, if the attack goes through...
No chance.
If her attack had gone through, I would have gained the ability to look at his hand and force him to discard a card if I paid 1 mana, which is absolutely worth it.
No such tricks.
Just because I'm at 10 life, I'm going to activate Moon Priestess's ability, gain the mana, use Vampiric Touch to kill one of his militia, and gain 2 life. Normally the militia aren't that big a deal, but he has ways of pumping them up and creatures that benefit from having more militia, so the 2 life can actually be a big deal.
I'm going to use Divine Offering myself to try to get more mana and also hopefully draw into something usable. And we're going to send another guy under the path so that he may ascend.
Alright, so now we're just going to continue to press our advantage here. So we're going to make our dude bigger and attack for more, to push more damage. Now, and we're going to just go ahead and pass our turn then. So at the end of his turn, he sacrifices a creature, or he sacrifices his path to send all creatures out from underneath it with my emblem, so they've got +1/+1.
Well, it's going to be a race against time.
Okay. So, let's see. He's swinging at me for 8, so I'll go to 4. And because he could potentially have pump up, I'm not going to block his 1/1.
It's coming down to the wire. We're going to make another militia and summon more bodies to the board to increase the pressure.
Okay. So now we have to hope for the best, right? So we're going to attack him directly, declare our final block, or to declare our final attack.
But I have tricks, and this summons more militia and makes all of my militia be fast enough to intercept his blockers. And I know that he may have a card which can give his creatures +2 too, so I'm attacking with enough to make sure that I kill this elf, even if he does that.
Okay. Now, I have to think, because I have options. So I hit the timer, the one that stalls the timer, and I ponder my moves. Now, if I want to save this elf, I need to kill or remove or do something to to make it so that he doesn't have that many options. Now, doesn't look like there's really any way for me to save the elf and save my life. So, pretty much all I'm going to do, because I don't really have that many options, is I'm going to play Tornado Outbreak, which returns the creature back to its owner's hand, and I'm going to get rid of his strongest militia. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to play Ambush Strike to give +2/+2 to my Elf Warrior, so it doesn't die in this trade. But unfortunately, that's all I can do. And now my creatures are exhausted and unable to block all the creatures that he has in play. So, unfortunately, this is just the end for my game.
And everyone attacks because he has no cards, so he cannot defend.
In defense, I will gain a mana.
Valiant to the end.
Very much so. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that was a game of Spellweaver. I'm Boltor, and for my buddy the Fuzz, may the cards rise to meet you, and bring good RNG to your enemies' enemies. And we hope to see you in Spellweaver.
Alright, that's good enough.